welcome to the channel. It's Adam with ND72. So today we're back with my Slk32. So you remember in the previous videos, we added some more power with a 178 crank pulley, and then we were kind of having an excessive amount of boost in my opinion. So we wanted to drop the boost back down, so we went with the new manifolds. Well, new to me, basically Needswings manifolds that drop my PSI down. Now what we got on the table right here is some more fun parts that are going to make it go faster and a little bit safer. So everyone knows with a supercharger car, when you stack pulleys, your air intake temp starts going up. So I've seen a lot of people basically go with meth. I think it's a fun, inexpensive alternative to doing something crazy. So this whole kit I got from Real Street Performance here in Florida. This is a Snow Performance 2.5 new boost setup. Alright, so I got this whole kit from Real Street in Florida. So this is a Snow Performance kit. So this is their 2.5 boost kit and their new style. So it says new. It basically was shipped 2 months ago. So this is the newest of the new for them. So what it comes with is their 300 PSI pump. And this pump should be able to mount anywhere, in a car, out of car. It's supposed to be fully sealed. It comes with grommets, mounting brackets for you to mount it right up. It comes with an external boost gauge with a little fitting. It comes with a series of other valving and stuff. They bring you like hardware, washers, stuff for the boost. It comes with 2 nozzles. This is 4 and 6. And then it comes with check valves. Everything you really should need to install it. It comes with an external fuse, a float sensor over there, and it comes with the tank, which is, I think, 1 liter. So it's not a bad tank, not a big tank. And also what I got right over here from VRP. This is VRP's 82 millimeter basically adapter, and what it allows you to do is it has a little port so you can put your meth in there. So I went with this kit over the AMG V3 for one reason. I could not get the V3 anywhere. I went to Jag, Summits. Everyone kept saying back order, back order, back order. I called every local shop. No one could get it. And this Snow Performance kit, Real Street Performance, had it on their shelf. So I just drove up there, picked it up. They gave me a killer deal on it, and then we were done. Now for this VRP piece, I bought this about 3-4 years ago. So VRP might have came up with an updated part, something like that, but this is the one I got from 3 or 4 years ago. So VRP, if you want to contact me, if there's a better part that you guys manufactured and made better, let me know. But we're going to put that on today just because I had it in my storage, and we're going to go from there. So now I got this kit. There's a few things I'm already noticing that I'm not going to be a big fan of, and I'm going to tell you a few things I noticed that I think I will be a big fan of. First of all, no instructions. That's so simple and so annoying. So what I had to do is basically you have to go online, and then you have to basically not download, but just click the link. It was just annoying. So they have all the instructions online. But for me, sometimes you just want pictures because you don't want to be doing it on your little iPhone. Luckily, I have an iPad. So if you're doing it on your iPhone, it might be a little bit annoying to see. But luckily, I got the iPad. It gives you all the instructions. Second thing I don't like compared to the AEM that I noticed. Yes, it has an external boost gauge. There's pros and cons in that from what I'm noticing. First of all, if this piece goes out, I can replace it. But inconveniency of the AEM one, the AEM was so one little box. And basically there was a boost reference that you just plug right in and all that stuff. Just looking at this kit right now, I need to now go to get adapters to basically plumb a boost line into this. Which the AEM one had that all in there. A little annoying. Second thing I don't like, all their wires are red and black for a lot of the stuff. I get red and black power and ground, but I kind of would rather if they changed some of the colors around. That's neither here nor there. Secondly, I'm not a fan of the connectors that they give with this kit. The AEM ones were just a lot nicer from what I saw. So not a big fan of that. So little things like that, and also their jets. Their jets, they do their own numbers, like 4, 6, 8, 10. The AEMs actually say how much they flow, like 200 cc's, 500 cc's, so on and so forth. So that part's a little bit annoying. And then for their tanks, the AEM tank was bigger. If you want to use the Snow Performance or AEM tanks, the AEM's bigger by like 15%. So that kind of matters a little bit, but we're not even going to use that. And then one of the last things I think this kit kind of annoys me about, well, there's 2 more things. The level sensor that they give with it is just an old-fashioned little ball. Like not ball, but a little float. The AEM one actually keeps up with modern technology, and it's a much better level sensor. So that's the last part of like that I can notice. Oh wait, and the wiring. If you could tell, this is not enough wiring. There's no way I'm going to be able to wire this up, so I have to buy new wires. I got to buy 1 or 2 fittings. Teeny annoying part of that. But this right here is supposed to be the cream of the crop difference between the AEM. The AEM one has little dials, and very chintzy. This is an actual boost gauge. So this is a boost gauge with a progressive controller that you could actually do 2 stages on it. So this is a huge benefit compared to the AEM one. But yet again, this kit costs a little bit more. But it comes with supposedly enough line, enough of everything you need except those teeny minor stuff. So we're going to start knocking it out. So with this kit, the best thing is to usually put a reservoir in the engine bay. But as you can see, I ain't got that much room to put this vertically anywhere. So my kind of idea was maybe in that corner over there. But we would be jumping all around. Ideal, you would want it like right here. But that ain't going to work. So that tank, 90% sure is not going to be used unless something crazy happens. So if you look right here, is my washer fluid reservoir fill cap. So inside this fender is my tank. I'm going to tap into that tank. And the other benefit of that, it's going to be less wires, less drilling, less this. So we're going to be pulling this fender, make sure I can tap into this tank, and that's where we're going to put our meth. And the other benefit of that is these tanks already have a level sensor. So right in my dash will pop and tell me when I'm low on my meth. And you never want to be low on meth, especially in Florida. So we're going to start knocking it out. I think step 1, remove this fender. Make sure I access this pretty easily. Okay, so remember I will plan to take the fender off? Forget all that. So to get this reservoir out, it's actually 500 times easier, and I just blanked out and forgot. So it's just one 10 millimeter right here. So all you do is get this fender liner out, and then the 10 millimeter just sits right in there, and then this whole thing slides out. If you see, there's just a grommet holding it in the back, and then on the bottom. So all you do is just pop it out, and you're good to go. So now we're going to go over what's right over here. So right over here is a heater that the coolant reservoir comes into and heats up this washer so that it's nice boiling hot washer fluid for you. I don't want that or need that anymore because we're doing meth, and I don't think anyone wanted their meth to be heated. This is the pump, okay? So this is the washer pump, so you can just pull this out and put it back in. I could have just tapped and drilled everything with this right over here, but I just wanted to clean mine out a little bit because it was a little dirty, and I suggest it because one bolt, and all I do is wiggle. So we got that out, so now asking what am I going to do with this? I'm going to loop this now. So we're going to loop this and then seal this all up with some basically approved silicone and stuff like that. So to loop this, all we're going to do is cut, and then loop. Pretty effing easy. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. You can leave this in the tank, but it'll just heat up your meth, which I don't really recommend. Okay, so this is the part that we deleted. This is the heater, like I said. So right there, you're going to delete that. That'll drop about maybe a half a pound-ish from the nose, but then you're adding all this other stuff. So if you look right here, this is how I looped it. All I did was take all the factory stuff, except that little clip, because I like these better, and I just took the 90 that was right here, unclipped it, and put it right there. So I didn't do any modifications. I didn't, damage anything. So future, if I want to put it all back, I can. So there's the looping part. Now we're going to work on the tank part, where we're going to have the top cap on there sealed up, and then we're going to drill and tap for the actual filler for the pump. So what we got over here, originally I was hoping there's a grommet right here. I could just go right in, but as you can see, it's like a hot dog down the hallway. Oh crap, I almost dropped it. This is basically like my ex-girlfriend and me, so it ain't going to fit there. So now I need to drill out a new hole. So if you look right here, I made a little mark. This should clear everything over there. So we're going to get our step bit. I'm going to go slowly and drill in and make sure that thread's in there. And then I'll seal it all up with their sealant that they gave us. And I'm going to tighten my effing vise up. So go slowly, because you don't want to go too big, because once you do, you just ruin your reservoir. Alright, so we drilled another hole over here, which this one's probably going to be better, and I got a little cap right there. So the kit comes with E600, which is supposed to be methanol safe and all that stuff. So we're going to put some, this is supposed to be a sealant. So we're going to gob this on there, and then thread that in there, and hopefully it holds. And this stuff stinks. I'm going to be mediumly generous with it for this part of it because I don't want it to leak. Hold that camera, lady. From the bottom. Yeah. Alright. We're going to kind of thread that in there. And then hope that seals it. So if you see, these are the two jets that you're going to pick from. They're 4 and 6. We're going to go at 6, and we'll tone it down if needed. If you see, it actually says it right there on the number of it for these. I might order other ones if I feel this is too powerful or too weak or so on and so forth. So they're pretty easy to do. So if you can see from the picture, they got a few pictures, so make sure you scroll down. Yeah, right here. So here's how the kit goes. So the other thing we have is the check valve. If you don't got the kit with the check valve, just don't even use that part. So how it's looking, how we're going to go is you're going to have your nice little snow performance thing. So the down part is going to be the actual jet, and there's the filter. So make sure the filter goes inside, and do not use Teflon tape on any of this stuff. It actually says in the directions, no Teflon tape. So the next piece, what it looks like going upside down, is going to be this one. And then the check valve. See how it has an arrow? Make sure you got it facing the right way. So you're going to be going towards the jet, and then right over there. I'm going to get tools and crank this all down. So how this is kind of going to work, which it looks effing pretty long, is going to shoot meth into here, then that's going to shoot into the actual car. So we're going to actually see how this is going to mount up in the car. Hopefully it'll work. So we swung the intake off. It's pretty straightforward to do it. Now we're going to remove our 82mm throttle body and put that plate in there, and hopefully it angles it pretty good. So these are pretty easy to do. They're just they're 4 10 mils, and I'm just going to whiz them off. I might have to get a different gun. Okay, I take that back. One of mine's a 10 mil, the rest are Torx. So, I'll knock them all off and show you what it looks like. So I got the VRP adapter plate on there, so either I got the order of the wrong one or they shipped me the wrong one years ago. This adapter plate is what it looks like. If you see these holes, these bolt up to a 74, and then the 82 bolts onto that. I have a 82mm snout, so what I had to do is these holes right here, I drilled them out so I could just put through bolts through, and then it should sandwich it in. So I got the factory Mercedes gasket right there, and then I'm just going to use Mercedes sealant and make my own gasket right here to seal on there. And then the meth is going to go over here. I only could get it to fit one way with my meth setup. So if you see, here's where the meth nozzle goes, and here's where the plug-in. So it should fit on there. So we're going to basically clean up the two ends. I'm going to silicone this all in there, and then mount this on. Okay, so with the meth kit, as you've seen, I've been running into a lot of little issues of basically how to pull the tank off, where to actually plumb it in. So today we're just going to go over everything I did, because now I got it basically all figured out and all plumbed in. That way I'm not showing you all the mess ups. We're just going to show you what actually worked. Okay, we're going to start over here with the tank. So here's the factory washer fluid tank. Here is the drilled and tapped nozzle. Now you can see there's some JB Weld over here just because I was getting a small leak. This is an old tank that was apparently leaking, so I just JB Welded this whole thing, and now we've been sitting for about 2 days and it hasn't dripped out, so we're good there. Also, here is the pump. So if you see the pump, there's a perfect spot right over here to mount it to, which then when you put your little shielding over, it's out of the way of the elements, like a pretty good amount. And from the directions, it's supposed to be lower than the tank. So here's the tank, there's the pump. It's not too much lower. And then I got basically my wires for the power and ground. Also, the benefit of putting everything over here is right here, there's a grommet. So there's a little grommet hole right over here that pops up right into the engine bay. So basically, I got all my lines. Make sure you got them going the right way. And all this stuff is fitting nice and bundled in there. Then we come up to over here. Now, I will make this look a little bit nicer. But right over here is where that hole pops up. So it's right down there under the battery. So you can remove the battery. You pull your holes up. And then I relocated the check valve. So now I got a check valve over here. Make sure you got it going the proper flow. And then I'm going to tuck all this stuff better. And then it goes all the way up to my actual nozzle. Let me plug that in. I gotta remember to plug that. Let me pull that out so I don't forget. So I got my nozzle. So I was gonna do it the VRP plate, but I ran into too many issues. The main issue that basically killed it, where I stopped even doing anything, is it pushed the throttle body so far back, I was hitting my fuel rail and all my stuff down there. So threw that tank away, or threw that adapter on the side, and then I just drilled and tapped right into my snout. Now, yes, this is a ported 82mm snout. I probably shouldn't have done that, but this snout was looking a little weird, like just with the paint. I eventually was going to take it off. So eventually I want to weld the bung over there. But this is all just, I'm hoping this will work for as long as it could. And then I got my plugged in there with a nice little 90 to kind of make it look a little bit more sleeker. I do wish this was black and not red because it doesn't match my red. And then all this stuff, all my power wires go down to this grommet that I already had for my other stuff. I'm going to clean all this stuff up. But this is the gist of it. And then we move into wiring up the controller. Alright, so we're in the car right now. I got the AC on, so pardon because it's hot as heck out. It's 91 degrees out. We've been driving it around, so now we're back in here. Here's kind of my like rudimentary gauge setup. I just kind of cut a hole in over here. And to wire this up, I didn't really gotta show you guys because it's pretty effing straightforward. So here's kind of the gauge. You could go through it, and you can set when the actual mess starts, when it's on full, so it's a progressive controller. That one's for a secondary meth injection, where I don't have that yet. And then that's just so you can change the text color. I think this color stands out the best from where I have it. That's to change the gauge color. Oh, actually I kind of like green. I think green sticks out pretty good. And then that's to make sure injection's on. So right, my injection is going to be on, and we're going to go test it, and I'm going to do it at like almost immediate. I want meth. Yeah, maybe 1 psi, and I want it to be full at like, I don't know, 8. So that's going to be almost full meth. So we're going to go try to drive around and go test it, and we're going to try to monitor the AFR gauges and the air intake temp gauges. Okay, so now that we got the kit all installed, we're going to start doing some meth stuff. So, I was going to try to go with the pimp juice stuff, but it was kind of a little bit hard to find. I was order off Amazon. It's basically $60 for 4 quarts, or for 4 gallons. So, it's not that readily available for me. And then there was a couple other places like VP makes speed sauce. It's basically their pre-mixed meth. But my local speed shop, which is 15 minutes down the road, it's OJ Performance. They have M1 methanol for about $50 for 5 gallons. So I'm going to mix my own meth, and this way I can make it stronger or weaker. And I'm going to show you how kind of my crackhead way to do it is. I got a teeny little mark there. I got my distilled water. I'm going to fill up to that mark of the distilled water. And then I'm going to fill up to roughly the rest of that line. And that's going to be roughly a 50-50 mixture of methanol. I'm going to try not to spill it, which I probably will. I need to figure out a better way to do this, because I already spilled a little bit of it. Alright. Perfect. It spilled out right there. So that was not planned, but now I just spilled meth, and it is highly flammable all over me and the floor. We'll be cleaning that up and washing my feet off, because that probably is unsafe. And then we're going to load it into the car. And spring water. So tasty. So now we're going to put this meth mixture I got in there into the car. So now that we got my pre-mixed meth in here, I already got like 2 of these, this amount in there. This reservoir is pretty big. So I don't know how much I'm going to be able to fill up, because I didn't really measure that part. So I'm going to go until it's basically topped off. I think we're almost full with 3 of these. So we'll go check the car for a test drive. It's right now 91 degrees out. I've already been driving the car around a lot. It's pretty hot, but now we're going to test it with meth. So in case I haven't already showed you, here's kind of like the final install where I put all my wrap and tucked all my wires. It looks pretty effing clean. So now we're going to go drive it. So from one way that I'm going to know, if my AFR gauges go super rich, I know that the fuel is basically getting all the way down to the combustion chamber. If it doesn't and my temps drop down, then I know this is just for cooling. So some people run 2 nozzles. I'm running 1 for right now, because I think the 1 will be perfect for cooling and it shouldn't mess with my fuel. So we're going to come in here and get some data logging. We're going to do it. It's super effing hot right now, but we're hoping the graph will at least show us some difference. Come on, data logger. We're just going to be very simple. It's going to show intake manifold. There you go, air intake temps. Where is it? So we'll have the gauge. So right now we're sitting. I've been driving around. We're at 105 right now. So this gauge should go up. And I'm going to have my trusty assistant hold it. So that was basically 60 miles an hour. We hit almost 22 psi of boost. What did we do for temps?
136.
Okay, so that was with full meth. All right, so we're back home. So that was 138 max. Basically doing a 20 roll at 22 psi of boost at 91 degree weather. So now we're going to shut the whole kit off and basically just turn right back around and go do the same thing. So it's apples to apples with meth and no meth. And it's still effing hot. It's 91 degrees out. We had AC on that time. Maybe we'll try it with no AC this time, and we'll see what happens. What do we hit for max?
149.
Okay, alright, let's turn back around. So overall with the kit, with how I have it set up, with the 6 nozzle, I dropped 15 degrees temperature on kind of doing back-to-back runs. If I would have let the car cool down maybe a little bit, I would have saw a little bit difference. Not fully sure about that. Also, the nozzle I was running is it's basically a 300cc nozzle. Most people run 500 cc's and more, so I might up that. I'm going to want to play around with the controller to see what the best time for it to come in and basically progress up is. And I want to mess around with my meth, because I want to see if maybe I do like an 80% meth, it'll go better. Maybe 20% meth is better. I want to play around with that, but I didn't want to do it in this video because that would have been just taking too long. Also, yes, I kind of wish I would have got the AEM kit, but the Snow Performance one should work and do basically the same thing. The AEM one might have been a little bit easier to install. And if you don't get a deal like I got, the AEM is definitely cheaper. But I couldn't find one, so I didn't buy one. Unless AEM wants to ship me one, then that is what it is. But overall, I got to see how meth treats on this car. And another thing, a couple people I was talking to, they run the twin nozzles. They basically run it where I kind of have it on mine in front of the rotors, and they also run it after the intercooler. I didn't do that, so that could be why some people are seeing like great gains with it. But still, 15 basically temperature drop isn't really bad for me, and hopefully I get a little bit better. But hopefully you guys liked the video. Make sure you throw some comments down, a like, subscribe, share it. Trying to build the channel up a little bit. And if anyone wants to send me some free parts or anything to test out, I'm all for it. Let me know, and I'll catch you guys later.